All right, it's another Wednesday night, and it is live on GNTV's Adults Class, and it is me, myself, the one and only Papa Kwamena. You can call me Mr. Smooth. We do this show every Wednesday night, and this show is currently the most educative adult show, in this country. We don't speak filth, we don't promote promiscuity, we are not promoting sex out of marriage. We are insisting that people shouldn't have sex when you're not married. So when you get married, what platform are you going to learn? Why are you going to learn it? We use this adult class to educate people. So if you have seen any of our education, we've been doing this for almost a year. Surprisingly, it's gone for almost a year. And we've gone through many lessons like being able to identify people's sexual organ size, sexual organ type, sex drive from the face, from the legs, from the butt, from head to toe. We described it. We have looked at prostate, we have looked at masturbations, many topics. But if you really want to join us and get to know some of the stuff that we have done, just get to my YouTube channel, Papa Kwamena Mr. Smooth. Subscribe, Papa Kwamena Mr. Smooth. Subscribe, so when I post any video, you're going to be the first to watch. And then we have a couple of those videos there. 21st is my day, 21st is my birthday, you know, and I'm sure you're the first to hear this on TV. So all my students who have not paid fees for almost a year, this is about time to start paying your fees to me, because it is my birthday on Friday. So I'll be, you know it. Yay! The old, the young man. All right, so we'll go for a short break, and when we come back, we'll start with anti-settle. Now, it is time to enter into Mr. Smooth's classroom. Like I said, my name is Mr. Smooth. This is Adults Class. It's on Wednesdays at 10 p.m. till 11:30. We are done with the first section. The second section is Mr. Smooth's classroom. And like I said, today I'm going to be talking about how to give any woman an orgasm. How to give any woman an orgasm. Tonight, it is going to be time for orgasms. You're going to learn something that most people think they know but do not know. That is exactly what I do on the Adults Class. We are going to be showing you some basic things that you need to understand well, need to practice with your husband, need to practice with your wife, and make your married or your marital relationship or your marriage work better. Now, don't forget, on Friday is my birthday, so you can send your text messages, your WhatsApp messages to this phone, so that I can be able to read them after the show, after we pay the phone calls. All right, then here, what is an orgasm? We need to understand this whole process before we can understand the blueprint. So what is an orgasm? So first of all, we need to look at it from the very scratch, from the very beginning, so everybody gets to understand what an orgasm is. First of all, you should know that orgasm comes from a Greek word, okay? And the Greek word is spelled O-R-G-A-O, orgao, and it simply means full of passion and pleasure. So orgasm simply means full of passion and pleasure. Now, it is actually the accumulation of excitement during the sexual response cycle. I'm going to be talking about the sexual response cycle so you get to understand it. And it is characterized by pleasure and the release of some neurochemicals like oxytocin, like prolactin, like endorphins. Some of these things are neurochemicals you have in the brain, and they are released when you have an orgasm. Okay, now the orgasm is also felt, or people feel it differently. And when it is between two couples, they can either experience it simultaneously or one can experience it before the other. But most times it is very pleasurable when both of you experience it simultaneously. And most times, if you are a man and you know how to pull your triggers, you are able to get them happening simultaneously. Now, Orgasms are also involuntary actions. Once you pleasure yourself to a certain point, there's an involuntary action that is controlled by a part of the nervous system called the autonomic nervous system. And then I went on, I would want to talk about the autonomic nervous system. You need to understand that the autonomic nervous system is that part that is responsible for your heartbeat, your breathing, the way you are, when somebody mentions your name, the way you respond to it. It is not something that you really need to think about before you react. So it is a part of the autonomic nervous system. And it also regulates our blood pressure. The blood pressure also regulates a variety of the body's processes, how the body would even produce or break down food and all the others. So the autonomic nervous system is a very important part of the orgasm process. So for your heart to function well, for your blood to flow well, for you to breathe without thinking, for food to digest well, you need the autonomic nervous system to function well. And I'm saying that that one is also responsible, or that is also what plays a role in what we call orgasms. Great. Now, I would also want to look at it from another angle. Now, if the type of orgasms men have and the type of orgasms women have are not similar, the feeling is different. If a man takes and follows that orgasm with a discharge, it is unnecessary when you have an orgasm and you discharge or throw out sperm when it is not for having babies. When I say this, I know I have a lot of people saying that, how can you have sex without throwing out sperm after you have an orgasm? There's a clear line between an orgasm and ejaculation, and I've tried several times to make people understand, but most people, I'm sure my students do understand that there's a difference, but most people out there don't know that there's a clear line between an orgasm and an ejaculation, and you can separate the two and both enjoy it. So if you are not having babies, there's no need to throw out the sperm, because the sperm is your reserve energy. And you can also learn to control, not to throw out the energy, especially the sperm, when there's no need to have babies. You can rather transmute that energy. You can move that energy to other organs, and I tell you, it's amazing. You can move it organ by organ. You can move it upwards through the front channel. You can move it through the back channel. You can even pass it through the microscopic orbit. As we go on, I'm going to be teaching you some of these basic practices. And orgasms and ejaculations, the basic difference is the pleasure, like I just defined orgasm. Ejaculations is as a result of excessively stimulating yourself beyond a certain point. Then that reflex action takes place where the prostate will suck the sperm out of the testicle and throw it out. So it's important that you get to understand these things. So you can actually suspend the process of the discharge, and it is possible to achieve unlimited number of orgasms without exhaustion. You can have unlimited number of orgasms without ejaculating, and most people, after having a few minutes, they are so exhausted because they have drained that essence, they have drained the energy. And I'm saying that you can have sex, you can enjoy it without actually throwing out the energy if you were a man. So men should learn, and if you want to learn, we are around to teach you to learn how to have that done. It's possible. It can be done. There are many people who have tried it. So orgasm is not the same as ejaculation. They are two separate things. And then also, a man would decay and be exhausted if you overly ejaculate. If you throw out too much sperm, you would drain your energy. And then also, it takes a long time for you to get that energy back, and it makes you lose interest in whatever you are doing. So while some men fail, some men fall because of the earth or other things. Others also fall because of ejaculations, and others rise because of that. So you need to learn to be able to control these things. You can have multiple orgasms without actually having to ejaculate. Okay, so let's look at this. Orgasms for women is a very critical part, and for most men, we are unable to last long enough to take the woman into the orgasm zone. So I would want most men to understand that once you understand what an orgasm is and you know what women go through to have them, you need to prepare yourself and control yourself to be able to get there. So when a man gets an orgasm, or when any human being gets an orgasm, there are a few things that happen. There's a sudden discharge of accumulated sexual tension during the sexual response cycle, and this results in a rhythmic muscle contractions, and the muscle contractions will be around the pelvic area, and for most people it's also around the entire body. So it makes it very, very pleasurable when you get an orgasm. Okay, so the basic things you should understand about orgasm here is there's muscle tension around the pelvic floor. So if a woman is faking an orgasm, her muscles around the pelvic floor will not be tensed, because some women fake orgasms, making all the noise, make men think that they are performing. Meanwhile, they're not feeling anything. They just want the man to just get it done and get up from them. So if you really want to check if the woman is really enjoying what you're doing, there should be some contractions around the pelvic floor. So even when you are having penetrative sex and the woman claims she is having an orgasm, involuntarily the vaginal muscles should contract, pulsate, squeeze one way or the other, so you can be able to tell that yes, something is happening. And then also, most of them, when they are faking it, even when you are not thrusting, they are still doing the hoo-ha, hoo-ha. You should know they are faking. You should know it. So once she is having an orgasm, the tension in her body will rise, the blood flow will rise, her body will become a little more redder because a lot more blood will flow into the head, into the whole skin, and then you see there will be a hormonal change, muscles will tense, and you feel that pleasurable release feeling, and then you see it from the person. When the person is faking, even though some people are very good actresses, you can be able to tell when the person is faking when you understand some of these basic things. So the contractions should be around the genitals. So even when you hold the nipple or you hold the breast and then you insert a finger, which I'm going to be showing you soon, you insert a finger, if she's enjoying it, the muscle in there should squeeze the finger so you know exactly where you are touching and where you should touch the next time. That is what we'll be learning as we move on with the blueprint. So let's look at this too. What is referred to as the female orgasm? Okay, female orgasms, you need to directly stimulate the clitoris, either manually, orally, or through penetrative sex, using the genitals or whatever young people are doing today. Most women require that you touch the clitoris directly to be able to activate that feeling. For some women, you need to touch it directly. And then also, orgasm is an intense feeling that women have, and it is frequently, and the frequency varies from the way you stimulate the woman and where her trigger points are. That is what you need to look at. So I would want everyone to know that women have as many as 8,000 nerve endings around the clitoris, and just about 1.5 inches inside the vagina. 8,000 nerve endings, and the penis has virtually about 4,000 of them. So if the man is having premature ejaculations and the woman doesn't feel anything, then there's something that we would have to look at critically. So these are some of the keys that you can use to give a woman an orgasm. So the first thing is to look at the mindset. The mindset that the man or both people who are in the love-making act, the mindset that they have. Most times guys get into the act of love-making with the intention to give the woman an orgasm at all go. So when you do so, you go on a wild goose chase, because you are just hunting. You are just, instead of fishing, you are hunting. And once you become desperate. You are just furious. You just want to get the woman to have an orgasm. So you're doing everything possible. But you see, this may sound like, yes, under a normal circumstance, that's what you should be doing. But the painful truth here is the mindset is to give the woman pleasure, not negative stress, not anxiety. You should not pressurize yourself. You should look at the intimacy. The stress or tension that you put in the woman coming actually stresses the person and takes the pleasure off. And then you leave the woman hanging without enjoying anything fun. So the mindset is very important. But the right mindset should rather be the attention on giving the woman pleasure, making her feel good. And when you give the woman pleasure and you are making her feel good, she would definitely orgasm. Whatever you are doing, whatever that you are touching, whatever thing that you are holding, it needs 3 basic things. The 3 basic things are rhythm, the speed, and the strokes. Those are the things you should look at. You should look at the particular strokes the woman likes, the particular rhythm the woman likes, and then the pace, the speed at which the woman likes it. So we're looking at rhythm, speed, and strokes. Once you get these 3 things right, and then you are communicating with the woman is listening to you, you are watching the woman, you are making the woman enjoy your touch. Whatever that you are doing, the woman she's in there with you. You are also in there with her. All you need to do is to observe. From the first few touches, you need to observe. When you touch the breast, check the way she responds. When you move slow, check the way she responds. When you move fast, check the way she responds. When you average speed, check the way she responds. And then you make a mark. Okay, when I move this way, she reacts this way. She likes it this way. Then you put it down. Then you move to the next hot spot. You touch it in a certain way. Vary the touches. So within 4 or 5 minutes, you should have touched most of the hot spots, and you know whether she likes it fast, she likes it slow, or she likes it a mix of it. You need to find her rhythm, you need to find her speed, and you need to find the type of strokes that the woman loves. And once you get that, you would be one of the super lovers for her. And then also, while you are doing that too, you should use both verbal and non-verbal communication to observe each stroke, observe each rhythm, and observe the response the woman gives you. So it's very important to understand these basic things. One mistake one mistake most men do is to run too fast, get too soon. I mean, instead of taking it easy and slowing down and trying to understand the woman's physiology, you just run, rush, enter, and throw it out, and they are gone. They forget that women are fire. Women are water, and men are fire. So when you take the fire and you drop it inside water, it will just quench it. All you need to do is warm each other up, and usually the man should start with the foreplay, warm the woman up, then the woman also takes the part when she is also warm. Then you can keep the heat going for a longer period. Teasing is very, very important in getting a woman to love what you're doing. You need to learn to tease her. You need to learn to use tools. There are so many things you can add. You can add toys, you can add feathers, you can multiply pleasure her. I mean, surrounding with hotspots, with many stuff. You can add whatever that comes your mind, but you need to take it slow and easy on her. You need to take it slow and easy on her. Now, you need to get a woman completely relaxed to have an orgasm. Once a woman is not completely relaxed, she's not going to have an orgasm. So you should use your words, you should use your attitude, you should use your touch, and then even the penetration style, the way you stroke, the way you move your waist, the whole act itself, you should just relax and play into it. There's no need to bring tension. Whatever tension that you want to bring in should rather be sexual tension, but not tension to have the woman to throw out. Most women are uncomfortable to have the squirt orgasms right in front of their guys, simply because they feel even shy to urinate when the guy is present. So if you want your girl to be squirting regularly with you, when you be sharing bathroom with her, be urinating with her. Once she urinates in front of you a number of times, when she's having a squirt, she does not think she's going to wee-wee on you and you're going to get pissed. Relax. It's relax. Just relax and enjoy the whole thing. Relax and enjoy the whole thing. Men would always have to be the first to give and the last to receive. You have to give before you receive. So like I'm saying, while you are giving, you're using that to even delay your own premature ejaculating stuff. So you can last a little longer on there. Okay, so there are some women that have a little difficulty with having their own orgasms, and I've said here that women are responsible for their own orgasms. So let them see what they are responsible for. So first of all, you have to allow yourself to let go. Very, very important that you allow yourself to let go. Next, you don't have to be sluggish. You don't have to be selfish. Don't only think about yourself as a woman, think about the man too. So don't just let yourself go. Allow yourself. You're making love with a guy. You want to have an orgasm, so allow yourself. Let a guy also, touch. Don't. For some of us, when we touch and you stop us, we feel we are about raping you, so we stop. We won't even continue. So if you really want to enjoy the love making, let yourself go. It's very important that you let yourself go. Also, don't distract yourself. So in the act of the love making, make sure you dim your phone or put your phone on silent. Don't distract yourself. Don't distract yourself in the process. Don't distract yourself. And then also, don't feel you are unworthy. For some women, they feel they are unworthy, and then once they feel they are unworthy, they are unable to enjoy what is happening. So don't feel unworthy. And then don't feel like you want to tame yourself, you want to subdue yourself, you want to make yourself like you are too little, you are worth nothing. Just be normal. Just be somebody who is ready and willing to enjoy what is coming at here. And then don't hold back at anything. So long as it's not going to hurt you, so long as it's not against whatever principles you have, don't hold back at anything. Allow it to happen. Don't be afraid to get a little dirty verbally. Sometimes it's fun. I know certain people who are a little restrictive and they hear certain things and then it just triggers their feelings. Sometimes you speak a little dirty and it adds so much to the spark of the relationship. And you know what I'm talking about, yes. Sometimes they don't hear stuff like that. So when you talk a little dirty, the guy feels like, hey, Charlie, this girl is dope, you know. When a guy says something like that, I mean, the girl feels like this guy is open. We can share, we can talk. When you do so, you open the room for more friendlier and easier communication. So it is important that you learn to do that too. And then also, you don't have to bite your tongue, bite your lips. You know, sometimes when you do that, it's like you are hurting the person or whatever. And then don't hold your breath for too long. For guys, yes, we do that to control whatever. But for women, there's no need to do that. And then let go the moaning. If you want to moan, yes. If you want to scream, hey, I mean, you're making love. I mean, what's that? I mean, you are there. You're licensed with your husband and you're enjoying yourself. So feel free, enjoy it. And then don't be too theoretical. I mean, somebody, they act like the theater. They just act. They sound, when they're not even enjoying it, they're making all the sort of noise to make people think they're enjoying it. So these are some of the tips that women should know if you want to have orgasms regularly. One key thing is take your bath 30 minutes before you start the whole act so that you feel secured. You don't feel a woman is going to have anything to concern about some smell or something about you. You can just use some very good intimate gels to refresh yourself so that you don't have to feel that the place is smelly or not too good. So first of all, you have to treat yourself well. So when the man is coming in, you are very confident that the vagina is working good and everything in there is very, very fine. And you shower down. So basically that's it. And then also, you also have to learn what drives the man. You have to learn what turns the man on. You also have to learn the sort of communication that the guy loves. And once you're able to get all these basic things, everything is fantastic. And then also, you have to let go, fantasize, think about, dream, explore, get yourself to it. Let it happen to you. Don't be so rigid. Don't be so restrictive. Allow it. Just feel the real experience. Let it happen. Believe in him. Tell him that what you're doing is pleasurable. And then get it going. Because once you do that, everything in there becomes perfect. Great. Now, for the men, we're going to be looking at the female orgasm blueprint. And when I say the female orgasm blueprint, I'm talking about a blueprint which when you follow, after having understood all these basic I've spoken about orgasms, when you follow these blueprints, you should be able to give any woman born by a human being an orgasm. First of all, there are 4 basic phases or stages that every woman goes through. And it is very important that you get to understand it. The first phase is the seduction stage. And that is the stage of desire. That is a seduction stage. For men, it is desire. For women, it is seduction. A man sees a woman, he has desire. But a woman would allow a man to have sex or intimacy with her when the man seduces her. You need to talk in a certain way. You need to act in a certain way. So you need to seduce the woman for her to be ready to have anything sexual to do with you. The second stage is the sensation. Good. The sensation stage is equivalent to the excitement and plateau phase of the sexual response cycle that Dr. Williams came out with some years back. So the sensation stage is that stage where the woman becomes excited and then lovemaking is going on, and then she's in a plateau phase. You see her blood rush on her face, the neck becomes a little longer, the breast becomes a little popped up. I'm going to show you pictures of all those things as we go on so you get to understand perfectly what happens. And then also the third stage is the surrender phase, or the surrender stage. That is where the woman gets an orgasm. And when she gets an orgasm, then she surrenders to the man, and the man is like the king. And the next moment, anytime you would want to have her, she is ready and willing to allow you to have her. And the fourth phase is the reflection phase. And for men is the resolution phase. For men, the resolution phase, the man will have to rest and reorganize himself so he can do another one. But for the women, it is not like that. So I'm going to show you this blueprint. You need to understand this. The blueprint states that when you start the lovemaking act, so I have a whole chart, a flow chart to make that woman get that orgasm. So Mustafa, let them see it. The first is the seduction phase. So when you start, you go to the seduction phase. So in the seduction phase, these are the things that you would do. You would have to get attraction. You have to attract the woman. And then also, you do whatever it is to attract the woman. You do whatever it is for the woman to become sexually aroused. So, if you don't attract the woman and make her sexually aroused, you cannot go to the sensation stage. So, first of all, the first phase is to get the woman attracted to you, attraction. The second phase is to get the woman sexually aroused, or to have a sexual desire for you. She will become attracted to you, and then she has a sexual desire for you. That is the first phase. Then, if you qualify, if you pass this phase, you get into the excitement phase. And then in the excitement phase, there are two things that you need to do. There are two things that you need to do. In the excitement phase, you need to get her into relaxation. She would have to relax. And when she is relaxing, you have to make sure that her sexual tension is going up. So, we are saying you attract her, you arouse her sexual desire, and then you put her into a point where she becomes very, very relaxed, and then her desire, sexual tension goes very, very high. And then once you have gone through this phase, then you can move into the third phase, which is the plateau phase. So with the plateau phase, this is what happens. If you go, or if you touch the clitoris and you start playing with the clitoris, she would have an orgasm. So that is the first thing that you do. Once you play with the clitoris, stimulate the clitoris well enough, she will have an orgasm. So when she gets an orgasm, she's already moved into the fourth phase. But because she would not go into a refractory period, she would quickly sober down and come back to a normal phase in the plateau while you're continuing. So immediately she moves back into the plateau phase, you have to get to the G-spot and give her a G-spot orgasm. So once you give her a G-spot orgasm, she moves straight to the fourth phase again. So the woman can come to the third phase, fourth phase, third phase, fourth phase, like that. So she moves into the fourth phase again. And then when she moves into the fourth phase, she would have had the second orgasm. Then she would come back to the plateau phase. Then you can give a blended orgasm. Blended orgasm can be both a clitoral and G-spot orgasm, or you can give a G-spot orgasm and a deep spot orgasm, or a clitoral orgasm and a deep spot orgasm, a clitoral orgasm and an O-spot orgasm, a clitoral orgasm and an A-spot orgasm. So you need to know which area turns the woman on the most so you can be able to trigger them. And once you give a blended orgasm, she goes back to the fourth phase and then she'll come back. And then you would have to use your own choice, the one that you think made her really, really enjoy from the three that you did, then you keep it going to that same point again so she can have another orgasm. And then you go back to the foreplay after she has had her orgasm. You go back to the kissing, relaxing her, and then you can end or stop the whole process. So until a man takes a woman through these stages, you are prematurely ejaculating. Until you go through all these phases and have your woman get at least 3 or 4 different orgasms before you ejaculate, you have a problem and you need to look at. So this is the key of opening the orgasm bank or orgasm pool or orgasm pond or orgasm river for any woman. Any woman will go through this. She'll become attracted to you. She'll become sexual. She'll have the sexual desire. And then once you start making her relax, her sexual tension goes up. You touch her clitoris or nipple, she gets a nipple orgasm or a clitoral orgasm. She comes back after the orgasm, she relaxes very quickly. You give her a second orgasm, she comes back. You give her a third orgasm. So if the orgasms keep going on like that, the woman is not going to have any issues with you. And I tell you, if you practice this, if you learn this, you can give any woman orgasm at all times. So I am going to pause here, and because my time is, and if you are with your husband or with your wife, I'm sure you are going to put some of these things that you've learned on from the adult class into practice. I can say for sure here again that the adult class is the most educative adult show in the whole of this country. I don't think there's any show here in this country that teaches you some of these things that I've just taught you. So stick and stay with us. We'll be back after the short break when we come.